David Morgan with you at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference in Vancouver, BC in 2020. Well, let's focus on the mining sector. This is going to be our year as far as I'm concerned. Tim Froud, you're with me. You are in Newfoundland looking at a gold discovery. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, we think we've got something very exciting, David, and for a change, it's nice to have the spotlight on this side of the country. It's obviously for many very good reasons. Central Canada and BC has been sort of the focus for the gold industry in this country. But I think Newfoundland has been overlooked for a long time. I'm kind of biased in that opinion, but certainly with our Moosehead project and our discovery in 2018, I think we've got a tiger by the tail.
So what have you done so far? How much drilling have you done, and what have you determined so far?
We took possession of the property in mid-2018, and we started drilling immediately. We knew what we had to do there, and that was get some core in the box, hopefully with some good stuff in it. And in about 18 months, in that time frame, we've drilled just under 19,000 meters, 88 holes. As I mentioned, we made a very significant discovery. It led to some very significant, shareholders joining our company, and today we're still a very well-funded junior with $2.3 million in the bank. We're about to start drilling in a couple of weeks, and we need to make our discovery that much bigger.
Well, Tim, I hear the word significant, very often, and look, I hate to say it, but when we've got 4,000 juniors out there, 2,000 where we are today, somewhere in there there's an average company. But no one ever says we're average,
Mm-hmm.
And I hear, we got 5 grams of gold. So what kind of significance are we talking here?
Well, actually, our very first hole we drilled was the one that kind of triggered everything for us. And it was a shallow, just 115 meters down the hole, almost 12 meters of 45 grams.
12 meters of 45 grams, so you're over an ounce of gold for 45 meters?
Yeah, and obviously there's a core area in there that I think ran about 1.5 meters of about 300 grams. So, we're dealing with a high-grade system, but I think the key thing with that is that there's also gold in the surrounding rocks as well, so it's not just a skinny little high-grade vein. From what I can see and what I've seen, our project looks very similar to a very famous project in Australia called Fosterville. And it was interesting because Eric Sprott, who's our largest shareholder, and I had a very interesting chat about that. And whether it had anything to do with his participation in the project or not, I'm not sure, but I know he likes high grade. And we've been able to deliver on all of our 4 phases of drilling so far some just fantastic results, 5 meters of 124 grams and things like that. So it's been and we're still learning about the project, but that's the good thing about the drill, right?
Right. I don't want to digress too much, but we were early on Kirkland Lake, and it's been a 10-bagger for all of the investors that read my report. So we're pretty high on the high-grade situation.
Yes. So
how much more work have you got ahead of you this year?
Well, I'd like to drill 20,000 meters. I think we need to double, the amount of data we have just to put our first resource on the board. We're currently funded, like I said, to a tune of about $2.3 million in our treasury now, based on our all-in costs, and this is everything, of $120 a meter. That includes everything. That's the assaying, everything, and the logistics on this property are beautiful. The Trans-Canada Highway runs through it. So, I'd like to drill 20,000 meters. Along the way, we might, dip into the market, if things, are favorable and, the price is right. But we're certainly comfortable in drilling, a 10 to 15,000 meter program without having to go to the market. I just prefer to have a little, security blanket behind me when I'm looking down the road, so I'm not looking over my shoulder.
Right. Well, you're kind of wearing all hats. You are the CEO, the geologist, you're looking at the data, you're doing a lot. And of course that saves money, but it's also very taxing on your physicality, if I can use that word.
Well, I've never been accused of being a micromanager. It's just that, I just love rocks, right? I love seeing the core and, carrying the boxes out of the field and open them up and that discovery hole. I remember when we stripped the lid off and there was a bit of mud on the core, and I rubbed my hand across it, and I said, "Oh, look at the chalcopyrite in the core, right?" And anyway, Rick looked down and he said, "Tim, that's not chalcopyrite." Anyway, it was gold, and that was so that feeling, that just it can't be replaced, right? So that's why I'm hands-on. I'm out there. I'm helping the guys if I can. I don't believe in sitting in the office is my living room actually. So it's I'd rather be in the field.
So you have the property, like what size? I mean, do you think, from what we don't know, but you perceive that you've got pretty much the whole area?
Well, the structure we're sitting on is a crustal scale break. It actually runs right through the whole island of Newfoundland. In fact, link deposits in Northern Ireland are sitting on a related structure, as are deposits in the Carolinas. And but our property itself is 100 claims. It's 25 square kilometers, and the strike length of the potential zone is the full length of the property. So we've got 5 miles, 8 kilometers of strike to test, and we've really only tested 25% of it with visible gold at the top and bottom ends, and it's just wide open. Yeah. There's no outcrop on the property, which kind of makes things a little difficult, but historically, the property was initially discovered by Noranda prospectors in the 80s.
Okay.
The famous
Noranda, oh yeah.
Yeah, and they found the first boulders there that were high grade. So it was always a project of interest, but because there's no outcrop, it's kind of difficult to determine which way things were going. And this kind of helped us in a way that for 20 odd years, people were drilling this thing thinking the gold was sitting in faults that were, say, north-south. But in actuality, the veins are actually sitting cross-cutting that, east-west. So a lot of the earlier drilling was actually drilled parallel to the actual veins. So unless you're very lucky or you drill enough holes, you're probably not drilling the property correctly. So, But this only came to light in 2016, when Altius, the vendor of the property, Altius Minerals, a very successful Newfoundland-based company, I might add, for the first time exposed mineralized quartz veins in a large trench they exposed. So the structural mapping they did quickly determined that, wow, this is not how we thought it was. And anyway, so their business model, of course, is to, farm things out. So we did the deal with Altius. We did the 19.9% of our outstanding shares. It was a very great deal for both parties. And, we now own the project 100%, subject to their typical royalty, 2%. We just need to, just sharpen our pencils. We're currently get a 3D model prepared for the project, which will help us in the fine details of the next phase of drilling. But, there's just so much potential in this project. I mean, like I said, we've just scratched the surface.
Great. Well, I think we've covered a pretty good overview of it. Is there anything that we haven't told our viewers that you would like to summarize or emphasize?
Well, I think in the short term, we're going to be a very active newsmaker. We hope to be drilling in about 2 weeks, weather dependent. Of course, winter in Newfoundland is always a dicey subject, especially lately. It's been a pretty rough time down there for a lot of folks. Apparently, my neighbor can't see my house now, so it's, and I have to go back there and dig my way in. So, anyway, I'll deal with that when it comes. But yeah, I think, key points, we have a completely wide open, very high grade discovery. We're well funded. We can drill at least 10 to 15,000 meters without having to go to the market. But if the market wants to come to us, I'm open for business. And we're going to be a newsmaker right through the year. And I think 2020, as you mentioned at the outset, will be a very good year for those that do the hard work, come up with the results. And I think in a year's time, we're going to be a very different company.
Tim, thanks so much for a great story.
David,
we're going to follow it.
Thank you.